Captain Daehyun Kim stood tall as the airlock door of the Earth diplomatic vessel Harmony hissed open. This was a big moment for all humans. After years of sending signals into space, another intelligent species had finally answered. Now, Captain, Kim led the first human team to meet the Galactic Council face to face. Remember, everyone, Daehyun said to his team, we represent all of Earth today. His voice was steady, but inside, his heart beat fast. The weight of 7 billion human lives rested on how well this meeting went. Lieutenant Hanul Park nodded, clutching her datapad tightly. As the ship's xenobiologist, she had studied all the information Earth had received about the alien species they would meet. Still, reading about aliens and standing in front of them were two very different things. Stay sharp, said security. Chief Ji-Hai Yoon. Her hand rested near her stun weapon, though she hoped she wouldn't need it. Ji-Hai smiled at her teammates, trying to calm their nerves. She had been in many dangerous situations before, but nothing like this. The three humans stepped through the airlock and into the Galactic Council's meeting chamber. The room was huge, with a high ceiling that curved like the inside of an egg. Seats rose in circles around a central platform where the humans now stood. In those seats sat creatures of all shapes and sizes, some with many eyes, others with no eyes at all. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few seemed to be made of something like living crystal. But the most common aliens were the Varathi. They looked somewhat like tall, thin humans with blue-gray skin. Their eyes were large with no white parts, just big black pupils. They had 4 fingers on each hand and no hair on their bodies. They were the ones who ran the Galactic Council. Ambassador Tholak of the Varathi stepped forward. He was taller than the others, with skin that had a slight purple tinge. When he moved, his joints bent in ways that made Hanul's scientific mind race with questions. Welcome, humans of Earth, Tholak said through a small device that translated his clicks and whistles into English. The Galactic Council greets you and recognizes your species as potential members, should these talks prove successful. Captain Daehyun bowed slightly. We thank you for this honor, Ambassador Tholak. Earth is eager to join the galactic community and learn from your many cultures. As he spoke, Daehyun smiled warmly, showing his teeth in what humans would recognize as a friendly gesture. The effect on the room was instant but subtle. Many of the aliens leaned back slightly. Some made small noises that the translation devices didn't catch. Ambassador Tholak's large eyes widened even further. Hanul noticed the reaction and quickly made notes on her datapad. Something was wrong, but she wasn't sure what. Ji-Hai also noticed. Her training had taught her to watch for small signs of trouble. But as was her habit when nervous, she smiled even more broadly than Daehyun had. A ripple of movement went through the alien delegates. A few of the smaller species actually left their seats and moved higher up in the chamber. Is something wrong, Ambassador? Daehyun asked, his smile fading. Tholak seemed to gather himself. No, Captain Kim. Please continue. Tell us of Earth and your people's wishes. For the next hour, Daehyun explained human history. The nicer parts, Earth's resources, and how humans hope to trade with other worlds. Throughout his talk, he smiled when making important points, as any good speaker would. Each time he did, the Varathi delegates would shift uncomfortably. Hanul watched as they whispered to each other. Their translator devices were off during these whispers, so she couldn't hear what they said. During a break in the talks, Hanul pulled Daehyun aside. Captain, I think something about our facial expressions is bothering them, she said quietly. What do you mean? Daehyun asked. Notice how they react when you smile. It's like they're afraid. Daehyun looked thoughtful. Maybe smiling means something different to them? Before they could discuss it further, Ambassador Tholak approached with another Varathi who wore symbols of scientific knowledge on their clothing. Captain Kim, Tholak said, this is Senior Biologist Renlo. May we ask some questions about human physiology? Of course, Daehyun said, gesturing to Hanul. Lieutenant Park is our xenobiologist. She can answer your questions. Renlo looked directly at Hanul. Lieutenant, when humans display their teeth, what does this signify? Hanul was surprised by the direct question. Oh, you mean smiling? It's a sign of friendship, happiness, or sometimes nervousness. It's how we show we're pleased or that we mean no harm. The two Varathi looked at each other. Renlo's fingers twitched in what might have been their own form of expression. Fascinating, Renlo said. In every other known species, showing teeth is a threat display, a sign that violence may follow. Hanyul's eyes widened. Oh, I see the confusion. For early humans, it may have started as a threat, but it evolved into something else. We smile to show we're friendly. Ambassador Tholak nodded slowly. Most unusual. Among Varathi, we hide our teeth at all times unless we intend harm. Hanyul was about to respond when a commotion broke out across the chamber. A group of Varathi were pointing at Jihai, who stood at attention nearby, scanning for threats. As was her habit, she had a slight smile on her face as she worked. The security officer, she displays teeth while watching us. One of the Varathi shouted. Is this a threat? Jihi, hearing this, looked confused. Her smile grew wider as she tried to appear non-threatening. No threat at all, she said. This only made things worse. The chamber erupted in worried clicks and whistles. Some delegates were backing away from the humans. Please, Daehyun said loudly, trying to restore calm. This is a cultural misunderstanding. Jihye, please don't smile. Jihai quickly made her face blank, though it felt rude to her. Ambassador Tholak raised his hands, calling for quiet. When the noise died down, he addressed the human team. I apologize for the reaction, Captain Kim. It seems we have much to learn about each other's ways. Perhaps it would be best to continue tomorrow after both sides have had time to adjust. Daehyun nodded, not smiling this time. I think that's wise, Ambassador. We will return to our ship and prepare information about human expressions to share with you. As the human team walked back to their airlock, Hanyul heard a junior Varathi diplomat whisper to Ambassador Tholak. The translator caught it before, turning off. Their threat displays are constant yet inconsistent with their words. They are either deceptive or mentally unstable. Back aboard the Harmony, the three humans sat in the meeting room, faces serious. So they think we're threatening them when we smile, Daehyun said. Hanyul nodded. It's a major cultural gap. In nature, showing teeth is almost always aggressive. Humans are the exception. What do we do? Jihai asked. I can't just not smile. It's automatic. We need to explain it better, Hanyul said. Show them videos of humans smiling in clearly, non-threatening situations, babies smiling at mothers, friends greeting each other. Daehyun tapped his fingers on the table. Will it be enough? They seemed really disturbed. We have to try, Hanyul said. First contact was never going to be easy. What none of them knew was that already news of the smiling predators was spreading through the Galactic Council. Videos of their teeth displays were being analyzed, and in dark corners of the council chamber, some were whispering that perhaps these humans were too dangerous to welcome into the galactic community. Tomorrow's meeting would be much harder than today's. 2 weeks had passed since the first meeting with the Galactic Council. The Earthship Harmony still orbited the neutral space station where the council met. Captain Daehyun Kim and his team had worked hard to fix the misunderstanding about human smiles, but progress was slow. Tonight was important. Tonight, the Harmony was hosting several Varathi delegates for dinner. It was meant to be a friendly cultural exchange, a chance to show that humans were not the smiling predators that rumors now called them. Everything must be perfect, Daehyun told his crew as they prepared the ship's main hall for the dinner. No sudden movements, and remember, try not to smile too much. The crew nodded, though many looked uncomfortable. Not smiling felt rude to them. Some practiced in mirrors, trying to look friendly without showing their teeth. Security Chief Jihye Yoon walked around the room, checking for problems. She noticed how stiff everyone looked, trying not to smile. This isn't going to work, she said quietly to Daehyun. We look like we're in pain. Daehyun sighed. I know, but we have to try. The council is still deciding if Earth can join. Some species are arguing against us because they think we're dangerous. Jihyun nodded. Something caught her eye, a movement near the door. One of the human guards was shifting nervously. Jihai walked over. "What's wrong?" she asked. "The Varathi security team arrived early," the guard whispered. "They're acting strange, watching everything. One of them has some kind of scanner." Jihai felt uneasy. She'd spent years in Earth's special forces before becoming a space diplomat. Her instincts were good, and right now they told her something was wrong. But when she turned to the door to greet the Varathi security team, she smiled automatically. The aliens flinched, then quickly hid their reaction. "Welcome," Jihai said, forcing her face to be neutral. "We're honored to have you aboard the Harmony." The lead Varathi security officer, a tall female named Zelra, nodded stiffly. "We must check the room before our diplomats arrive." "Of course," Jihai said, stepping aside. As the Varathi team moved around the room, Jihai watched them carefully. They seemed too focused on certain areas: the air vents, the ceiling panels, the human crew members. Were they looking for weapons, or planning to place their own? Jihai touched the small communicator on her wrist, signaling her own team to be on alert. Something wasn't right. An hour later, the dinner began. 6 Varathi diplomats sat with 10 humans around a large table. The food was specially prepared, to be safe for both species. Lieutenant Hanul Park had worked with the ship's chef to create dishes that would appeal to Varathi tastes. "I hope you enjoy the meal," Dae-hyun said to Ambassador Tholak. "Hanul has been studying your food preferences." Tholak nodded. "Thank you for this effort, Captain Kim. It is reassuring to see humans try to understand our ways." The dinner started well. The humans were careful not to smile much, though. It created an awkward atmosphere. The conversation was stiff, with long pauses. Hanul tried to help by giving a presentation about human expressions. She stood at the end of the table with her data pad connected to a display screen. "As you can see," she said, showing pictures of humans with different expressions. "A smile can mean many things. This one shows happiness. This one shows nervousness. This is a smile of greeting." The Varathi watched with interest, but also clear discomfort when the images showed teeth. "How do you know?" asked a Varathi scientist named Tevko. "Which type of tooth display means peace and which means attack?" The question surprised Hanul. "We just know. The same way you know what different Varathi expressions mean. But in our species," Tevko said, "showing teeth always means possible violence. There is no confusion." "Humans are more complex," Hanul said proudly. Then she realized how that sounded. "I mean, our expressions evolved differently." The Varathi delegates looked at each other. One whispered something that the translators didn't catch. Jihai, standing near the wall, noticed the Varathi security team was now spread out around the room. They seemed tense, hands near their weapons. She caught the eye of her second-in-command and made a small gesture. Her team began to move into better defensive positions, though they tried to look casual. Dae-hyun sensed the growing tension. "Perhaps we should move on to—" He never finished his sentence. The ship's alarm suddenly blared. "Captain," a voice called over the ship's system. "We have unauthorized access in the engine room. Security breach." Everything happened very fast after that. The lights flickered. The Varathi diplomats jumped to their feet, looking afraid. Jihai's team pulled out their stun weapons. "Please remain calm," Jihai said, stepping forward. "We'll protect you." But when she said this, she automatically smiled, her way of reassuring people in a crisis. That smile changed everything. One of the Varathi security officers shouted something in their language. Then they all pulled out weapons and pointed them at the humans. "It's a trap," Zelra yelled. "The humans planned this. See how they bare their teeth now that we are helpless." "No," Dae-hyun shouted. "This is a misunderstanding." But it was too late. Weapons fired. Energy blasts hit the walls. Humans and Varathi dived for cover. Jihai moved with the speed and skill from years of training. She jumped over the table, pushed 2 diplomats to safety, then disarmed a Varathi guard with a quick strike, all while her face held what humans would recognize as a calm, focused smile. To the Varathi, it was the most terrifying thing they had ever seen: a predator showing its teeth while efficiently taking down armed opponents. Stop, Ambassador. Tholak shouted over the chaos. Everyone stop. Slowly, the fighting halted. Jihai stood in the center of the room, 3 Varathi guards on the floor around her. Her smile was gone now, replaced with a look of concentration. Ambassador, she said to Tholak, we are under attack, but not by us. Someone else has breached our ship. The ship's communicator crackled. Security chief. We found them. A group of unknown aliens in the engine room. They're trying to damage the core. Hanuel, who had been hiding under the table, suddenly popped up. Captain, I think I know what's happening. Those must be Varathi extremists. Extremists? Daehyun asked. Yes, Hanuel said. I've been reading Varathi news. There's a group that believes humans are too dangerous to join the council. They might be trying to sabotage our ship to make us look bad. Ambassador Tholak looked shocked. This is possible. There are those among my people who fear your kind. Daehyun turned to Jihai. Take a team and secure the engine room, but no lethal force unless absolutely necessary. Jihai nodded and quickly left with several officers. In the tense minutes that followed, Daehyun tried to calm the Varathi diplomats. This is not how we wanted the evening to go, he said with no smile at all. I noticed something important, Hanuel said suddenly. During the fight, when Jihai was truly in combat mode, the Varathi were most afraid of her smile. But did you notice? When humans are truly angry, we don't smile at all. The Varathi delegates looked at her with new interest. It's true, Hanuel continued. They don't understand that for humans, showing teeth evolved from a threat display into something more complex. They think we're constantly threatening them, but become truly terrified when they see what we actually look like when we're angry. Before anyone could respond, Jihai's voice came over the communicator. Engine room secured, Captain. We've captured 6 Varathi extremists. They had explosives, but we stopped them before any damage was done. Daehyun sighed with relief. Then he looked at Ambassador Tholak. Now, he said in a serious voice, we have much to discuss. The Varathi ambassador nodded slowly, his large eyes studying Daehyun's expression with new understanding and perhaps a hint of fear. 3 days after the attack on the Harmony, Captain Daehyun Kim sat in his office watching news from across the galaxy on multiple screens. None of it was good. The Varathi extremists had been stopped, but the damage to human-alien relations was done. Look at this, he said to Hanuel and Jihai as they entered. He pointed to a screen showing alien text with translation below. Smiling predators. Are humans too dangerous for the galactic community? Hanuel sighed as she sat down. It's getting worse. I've been monitoring communications from 12 different species. They're all talking about us now. And not in a good way, Jihai added. She remained standing, arms crossed. Since the attack, she had been working hard to control her automatic smile. It felt unnatural, but necessary. Daehyun pointed to another screen. This one claims humans use smiles to confuse prey before attacking. They're comparing us to some predator from the Orion sector that hypnotizes its victims. That's ridiculous, Hanuel said. We need to correct this. Daehyun nodded. The Council has permitted us to make an educational broadcast to all member species. We need to explain human expressions properly. Will they believe us? Jihai asked. They have to, Daehyun replied. Earth's future depends on it. 2 days later, the broadcast was ready. The Harmony's communication room was set up with cameras and lights. Hanuel had prepared videos showing humans in various situations, families eating together, friends playing games, workers cooperating on tasks, all smiling in clearly non-threatening ways. This has to work, Daehyun said as the broadcast began. He faced the camera and spoke without smiling. Greetings to all members of the Galactic Council. I am Captain Daehyun Kim of Earth. Today we wish to clear up some misunderstandings about human expressions. The broadcast went well at first. Hanuel explained the science of human facial movements. She showed how smiles could mean happiness, friendliness, or sometimes nervousness. Daehyun demonstrated different expressions and what they meant. Then, They showed their prepared videos. One showed human children smiling while playing a game together. The reaction was immediate and unexpected. Messages flooded in from across the galaxy, all expressing the same horror. They train their young to associate violence with pleasure. No, that's not what this means, Hanul tried to explain. These children are happy, not aggressive. But the damage was done. The broadcast, meant to improve understanding, only made things worse. Now many species believed humans were teaching their children to enjoy violence. After the failed broadcast, Dae-hyun called an emergency meeting with his senior crew. "We need a new approach," he said. "The more we try to explain, the worse they misunderstand us." "I've been working with Taewoo," Hanul said, referring to the ship's linguist. "We've made an interesting discovery." Taewoo Choi was a quiet man who rarely spoke in meetings. Today he opened his datapad and showed a series of images. "We've analyzed how different species perceive human faces," he explained. "Look at this. When we have neutral faces, no expression at all, many aliens see us as aggressive." The images showed how alien visual systems processed human faces. Even a calm, neutral human face was interpreted as threatening by most alien species. "But that's not the worst part," Taewoo continued. "When humans actually show aggression, narrowed eyes, compressed lips, the aliens often miss these signs completely. They don't register our real anger cues. So they think we're always aggressive," Ji-hai said, "but can't tell when we actually are aggressive." "Exactly," Taewoo nodded. "It's a perfect storm of misunderstanding." Dae-hyun rubbed his forehead. "No wonder this is so difficult. But we have to find a way to fix it." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, video clips from the Harmony were spreading rapidly. One video in particular was causing a sensation. Security footage from the attack, showing Ji-hai taking down 3 armed Varathi while maintaining what humans would call a calm, professional expression. Alien news networks played the clip repeatedly, with captions like, "Humans bare teeth while killing. Their joy in violence is innate." On a distant planet, a group of military leaders from various species watched the clip. "Look how she smiles as she strikes," one said. "No remorse, no hesitation." "Their facial structure is built for deception," another added. "They show teeth to distract, then attack when you're confused. Can we allow such creatures into our peaceful galaxy?" a third asked. The question hung in the air, unanswered but clear. Many were beginning to think humans should be kept away from the rest of galactic society. Back on the Harmony, Dae-hyun received a message from Ambassador Tholak requesting an urgent meeting. When the Varathi ambassador arrived, he looked worried. "Captain Kim," he said, "I must speak frankly. The situation is deteriorating. Many council members are calling for Earth to be quarantined." "Quarantined?" Dae-hyun asked, shocked. "But we've done nothing wrong." "I understand that now," Tholak said. "After the incident on your ship, I have studied humans more carefully. I believe your smiles are indeed not always threats. But others are not convinced." "What can we do?" Dae-hyun asked. "The council will vote in 3 days," Tholak said. "If they decide humans are too unpredictable, no Earth ship will be allowed beyond your solar system." After Tholak left, Dae-hyun called Hanul and Ji-hai to his office again. "We have 3 days to change the minds of hundreds of alien species," he said. "Any ideas?" Hanul thought for a moment. "What if we created a detailed guide to human expressions? Something that clearly shows what each expression means." "Will they read it in time?" Ji-hai asked. "Maybe not," Hanul admitted. "But it's a start." For the next 2 days, Hanul and Taewoo worked non-stop on their guide. They analyzed thousands of human expressions and created detailed explanations for each one. They sent the guide to Ambassador Tholak, who promised to share it with other council members. But time was running out. The day before the council's vote, Dae-hyun received more bad news. "Captain," one of his officers reported, "the video of Ji-hai during the attack has been seen by over 2 billion beings across the galaxy. It's being called the Death Grin video." Ji-hai looked horrified. "Death Grin? I was focused on protecting everyone. I wasn't happy about hurting those extremists." We know that, Daehyun said gently, but they don't understand. As the day of the vote approached, the mood on the Harmony grew dark. Their mission of friendship seemed to be failing. Instead of joining the galactic community, Earth might be cut off from it forever. That evening, as Daehyun sat alone in his quarters, a message arrived from Earth's government. He read it slowly, then called for an immediate meeting of all senior officers. When everyone was gathered, Daehyun stood before them, his face serious. Earth has sent new orders, he said. If the Council votes to quarantine us, we are to return home immediately. Earth will begin preparing defenses in case the aliens decide we are not just strange, but dangerous. A heavy silence filled the room. The first contact between humans and aliens, which had begun with such hope, was now on the edge of becoming something much darker. There must be something we can do, Hanyul said, breaking the silence. We can't let this end in fear or conflict. Daehyun looked at his team. The best Earth had to offer. They had come so far, worked so hard. He refused to give up now. I have an idea, he said finally. But it's risky, very risky. What is it? Ji-hai asked. We need to show them what humans really look like when we're truly angry, Daehyun said. Not smiling, not friendly, actually aggressive. But won't that confirm their fears? Hanyul asked. Or, Daehyun said, it might finally help them understand the difference. The day of the Galactic Council's vote arrived. The Great Chamber was filled with representatives from hundreds of species. The atmosphere was tense. Most delegates sat far from the small area reserved for humans. Captain Daehyun Kim stood with Hanyul and Ji-hai at the entrance to the chamber. They were about to enter when Daehyun's communicator beeped. He checked the message and his face grew dark. Bad news, he said quietly. 3 Varathi warships have just arrived. They're positioned near our ship. Are they expecting trouble? Hanyul asked. Or planning to cause it? Ji-hai suggested. Daehyun took a deep breath. Whatever happens, we stick to the plan, remember, no smiling no matter what. They entered the chamber and took their seats. All around them, alien delegates whispered and pointed. Some moved to seats farther away. At the center of the chamber, Ambassador Tholak stood to address the council. Today we must decide if humans are ready to join our galactic community. There are concerns about their behavior and expressions. A delegate from a species called the Zentari stood up. They looked like tall, thin insects with shimmering wings. They are unpredictable. Their threat displays and actions do not match. How can we trust what we cannot understand? Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Another delegate, a bulky reptilian being, rose. We have all seen the Death Grin video. They take pleasure in violence. They smile before attacking. More voices joined in, each more fearful and angry than the last. The chamber grew loud with accusations. Finally, Ambassador Tholak raised his hands for silence. We will now hear from the humans before voting. This was the moment they had prepared for. Daehyun stood and walked to the center of the chamber. Every eye in the room watched him. Members of the Galactic Council, he began, keeping his face completely neutral. I understand your concerns. Human expressions are different from yours, but different does not mean dangerous. He paused, looking around the room. Most delegates were watching him with suspicion. You believe we smile because we enjoy violence, or want to threaten you. This is not true. But words alone cannot convince you. Daehyun touched his communicator. Captain Kim to Harmony. Begin transmission. A large screen appeared in the chamber. It showed the Harmony in space with the 3 Varathi warships nearby. I know those ships were sent here in case you decide humans are too dangerous, Daehyun said. They are supposed to escort us back to Earth, or stop us if we resist. Ambassador Tholak looked uncomfortable. This is just a precaution. Is it? Daehyun asked. Then he did something no one expected. His face changed completely, his eyes narrowed to slits. His jaw tightened, his lips pressed into a thin line, his forehead wrinkled. There was not even a hint of a smile. This was pure human anger, directed at everyone in the room. The effect was immediate. The alien delegates grew quiet, confused. This expression was new to them. "This," Dae-hyun said in a low, controlled voice, "is what humans look like when we are truly angry, when we prepare for combat. No smile, no teeth showing. Our ancestors learned to hide their weapons before striking." He let his words sink in. The chamber remained silent, all eyes fixed on his angry face. "You have mistaken our friendship for aggression," he continued, "but now you will see what human aggression truly looks like." He touched his communicator again. "Security team, execute Plan Alpha." On the screen, everyone watched as a small shuttle left the Harmony and moved toward the lead Varathi warship. "What is this?" a Varathi military officer demanded, standing up. "Your shuttle is approaching our ship without permission." Dae-hyun ignored him. "Tell me," he said to the room, "do you see any of us smiling now?" It was true. Dae-hyun, Hanul, and Ji all wore serious expressions, no teeth showing, no curved lips, just intensity and focus. On the screen, the shuttle reached the Varathi ship. Then something unexpected happened. The Varathi ship's lights flickered and went out, then came back on, then went out again. "What have you done?" the Varathi officer shouted. "Nothing permanent," Dae-hyun said calmly, still wearing his angry expression. "Just a small demonstration." The screen split to show the inside of the Varathi ship. The bridge was in chaos. Officers ran back and forth trying to restore power. And then, walking calmly through the confusion, was Ji-hai. "How is this possible?" Ambassador Tholak asked. "Ji-hai is here with us." The Ji-hai in the room stood up. "I'm here, yes. That's my twin sister, Hae-jin. She's also a security specialist." On the screen, Hae-jin moved efficiently through the Varathi ship. Everywhere she went, Varathi officers backed away. Some even ran. She wasn't armed. She wasn't acting threatening, but she was smiling. A calm, confident smile that terrified the Varathi more than any weapon could. "See how they fear her?" Dae-hyun said to the room. "They run from her smile, yet she has hurt no one, taking control of a warship without a single injury." The room was absolutely silent now. Every delegate was frozen, watching the screen. "The Varathi are right to be confused," Dae-hyun continued. "Humans are complex. We smile when happy. We smile when nervous. And yes, sometimes we smile before violence, not from joy but as a final warning, a last chance for peace." He looked directly at Ambassador Tholak. "Your ships came prepared for battle, but we came prepared for friendship. Which approach seems more dangerous to you?" Hae-jin had reached the bridge of the Varathi ship. The captain and his officers were backed against the wall, watching her with fear. "Your weapons are temporarily disabled," Hae-jin told them, still smiling. "Your engines are fine. Your life support is untouched. We could have done much more, but chose not to." She touched her communicator. "Captain, I've made our point. Request permission to return." "Granted," Dae-hyun said. Then he turned back to the stunned council. "You came to escort us home or to fight us. We could have chosen battle. Instead, we showed restraint." He let his angry expression fade, replaced by his normal, calm face. "Humans are predators, yes. Our ancestors were hunters. But we evolved beyond that. We learned to use our intelligence, not just our strength." Hanul stood and joined him. "Our smiles evolved too. From threat to friendship. From showing teeth before biting to showing teeth as trust. When we smile at you, we make ourselves vulnerable. We show you we trust you enough to let down our guard." Ji-hai also stood. "If you want to see human aggression, look at our faces. When we stop smiling, that's when you should worry." On the screen, the shuttle was returning to the Harmony. The Varathi ship's lights had come back on. Everything was returning to normal, except the mood in the council chamber. That had changed completely. Ambassador Tholak stepped forward. "Captain Kim, you have taken a great risk today. You could have started a war." "We could have," Dae-hyun agreed. "But that's not why we came to your council. We came to join you, to learn from you, to share with you. And if we still vote to quarantine Earth? Asked the Zentari delegate. Then we will respect your decision, Daehyun said. But we hope you will see us more clearly now. Ambassador Tholak looked around the chamber. I believe we need time to reconsider what we have learned today. I suggest we postpone the vote for one standard week. Murmurs of agreement filled the room. The delegates looked at the humans with new expressions, not fear, not anger, but curiosity as they left the chamber. Hanul whispered to Daehyun, "Do you think it worked?" Daehyun glanced back at the aliens, many of whom were now examining the human facial expression guide that Hanul and Taewoo had created. "I think," he said. We finally got their attention. A week had passed since Captain Daehyun's bold demonstration at the Galactic Council. The Harmony remained in orbit around the Council station, waiting for the final vote. The mood on the ship was tense but hopeful. "Any news?" Ji-hai asked as she entered the bridge where Daehyun and Hanul were looking at data screens. "Some," Daehyun said. "Ambassador Tholak has been meeting with representatives from different species. He's sharing Hanul's guide to human expressions. And Jin is helping," Hanul added with a smile. "Since her visit to the Varathi ship, many aliens actually want to meet her." Ji-hye shook her head in amazement. "My sister always did make an impression." A message alert sounded. Daehyun checked the screen and his eyebrows rose in surprise. "Ambassador Tholak wants to meet, but not here. He's requesting permission to bring a small team aboard the Harmony again." "After what happened last time?" Ji-hai asked. "He says, it's important, and he's bringing the Zentari representative and 2 other council members." Daehyun thought for a moment, then nodded. "Tell him they're welcome, but I want you and Jin both on security, Ji-hai." "Double the smiles, double the confusion," Ji-hai said with a small laugh. 2 hours later, Ambassador Tholak and 3 other alien representatives stood in the Harmony's meeting room. The Zentari delegate's wings shimmered nervously. A large, turtle-like alien blinked slowly. The 3rd visitor was small with 4 arms and purple skin. "Thank you for agreeing to this meeting," Ambassador Tholak said. "What I'm about to propose is unusual, but I believe it may solve our misunderstanding." "We're listening," Daehyun said cautiously. Tholak turned to the small purple alien. "This is Dr. Senpo, our leading neural communication specialist." Dr. Zenpo stepped forward, 4 hands moving in complex patterns as they spoke. "I have studied your Lieutenant Park's Guide to Human Expressions. Fascinating work, but words and pictures can only explain so much. What are you suggesting?" Hanul asked. "Direct neural communication," Dr. Zenpo said. "A temporary link between minds. It would allow us to truly understand how humans perceive expressions and emotions." Ji-hai tensed. "You want to read our minds?" No, Dr. Zenpo said quickly. "Not read. Share. It is a 2-way connection. You would experience our perceptions as well." Daehyun looked skeptical. "Is this safe?" "It is a standard procedure for introducing new species to the Council," Tholak explained. "We've used it successfully with 12 different species." "Why? Didn't you suggest this earlier?" Daehyun asked. The turtle-like alien spoke for the first time, voice deep and slow. "Because we feared you. We thought connecting to human minds might be dangerous." "And now?" Hanul asked. "Now we believe it may be our best hope for understanding each other," Tholak said. Daehyun looked at his team. "What do you think?" Hanul's eyes were bright with excitement. "As a scientist, I'm fascinated by the possibility. I volunteer." "I'll need to verify the safety," Ji-hai said cautiously. Dr. Zenpo nodded. "Of course, you may examine all our equipment and procedures." After a long discussion about safety and privacy, Hanul agreed to participate in the neural link. Dr. Zenpo would represent the alien side. The procedure would take place the next day, with both human and alien medical staff present. The medical bay of the Harmony had been transformed. Strange equipment brought by Dr. Zenpo filled one side of the room, Hanul lay on a bed looking nervous but determined. Dr. Zenpo sat nearby, attaching small sensors to their own purple skin. The process is simple, they explained. These sensors will create a field between us, allowing our neural patterns to synchronize temporarily. We will be able to share sensory experiences and emotional contexts. Will I see your memories? Hanul asked. No, only what I deliberately share with you and you with me. Think of it as a controlled dream that we experience together. Daehyun, Jihee, and Haejin watched from nearby, along with Ambassador Tholak and the other alien delegates. Are you ready? Dr. Zenpo asked. Hanul took a deep breath. Ready? Dr. Zenpo activated the equipment. A soft hum filled the room. Both Hanul and Dr. Zenpo closed their eyes. Their breathing synchronized. For several minutes, nothing seemed to happen. Then Hanul gasped. Her face showed surprise, then wonder, then understanding. Beside her, Dr. Zenpo made clicking sounds that their translator rendered as expressions of amazement. The connection lasted for 20 minutes. When it ended, both Hanul and Dr. Zenpo looked exhausted but changed somehow. What happened? Daehyun asked as Hanul sat up. It was... Hanul searched for words. Incredible. I experienced how Varathi and other species see faces. Their visual systems are tuned to completely different cues than ours. Dr. Zenpo was speaking rapidly to Ambassador Tholak in their own language. The ambassador's large eyes widened with each word. What did you share with them? Jihai asked. I showed them what a smile feels like to us, Hanul said. The warmth of friendship, the joy of greeting someone we care about. But also, she glanced at Jihai. I showed them what it feels like when we smile before fighting. The regret, the determination, the sense of doing what's necessary even though we don't want to. Dr. Zenpo turned to the humans. I had no idea. Your emotional range is extraordinary. You contain contradictions that would drive my species to madness. Yet you find balance in them. Ambassador Tholak stepped forward. Dr. Zenpo has shared their experience with me through our own connection. I now understand something crucial about humans. What's that? Daehyun asked. You smile before violence not from joy, Tholak said, but because you regret the necessity of it. The smile is a final offer of peace before you commit to action. Hanul nodded. That's it exactly. Over the next 2 days, more neural connections were formed. Jihee and Haejin both participated, sharing their experiences as security officers. Daehyun connected with Ambassador Tholak himself, each learning how the other perceived leadership and responsibility. With each connection, understanding grew. The aliens learned that human expressions were far more complex than they had imagined. The humans learned how their faces were perceived by alien visual systems. Finally, the day of the council vote arrived. This time, when Daehyun, Hanul, and Jihai entered the chamber, aliens did not move away from them. Some even approached, attempting human-style greetings. Ambassador Tholak called the council to order. Today we vote on whether humans will join our galactic community. Before we do, Dr. Zenpo will share what we have learned. Dr. Zenpo stepped to the center of the chamber. Through neural connection, we have experienced human emotions directly. We have discovered that their facial expressions are not deceptive but beautifully complex. The small alien gestured to Hanul. With Lieutenant Park's help, we have developed a universal expression translator. It will help all species understand human faces correctly. Taewoo Choi stepped forward, holding a small device. This translator can interpret human expressions in real time and explain their meaning to other species. To demonstrate, Jihai smiled at the device. A soft voice announced, "This expression indicates friendliness and goodwill. It is not a threat display." Murmurs of approval rippled through the chamber. Ambassador Tholak raised his hands. "We will now vote. Those in favor of accepting humans into the Galactic Council, please indicate." Lights flashed across the chamber as species after species voted. The final tally appeared on a large screen. 87% in favor. Daehyun felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Their mission was a success. Earth would join the galactic community. As the session ended, aliens approached the humans with new curiosity rather than fear. Some tried to imitate human smiles, with strange and sometimes funny results. A young Varathi diplomat came to Jihai. "I have a question," they said hesitantly. "When your sister boarded our ship, smiling as she disabled our weapons, what was she feeling?" Jihai thought for a moment. She was focused on her mission. The smile wasn't about joy. It was about control and confidence and perhaps, she paused, perhaps a little sadness that it was necessary. The Varathi nodded slowly. "I think I understand now. You smile not because violence brings you pleasure, but because you hope to avoid it." "Exactly," Jihai said with a genuine smile. As the humans prepared to send the good news to Earth, Daehyun looked around at the aliens now mingling freely with his crew. Some wore translation devices that interpreted human expressions for them. Others were learning to recognize the expressions on their own. "We did it," Hanil said, joining him. "They understand us now." "Not completely," Daehyun said. "That will take time, but it's a start." In the years that followed, as humans spread throughout the galaxy, their smiles went from being feared to being recognized as the complex expressions they truly were. The expression translator became standard technology for interspecies communication, and when new species joined the galactic community, they were all told the story of the strange humans, the only known species who evolved to show their teeth not just as a threat, but as the ultimate sign of trust and friendship.